Now at 5, new questions in the deadly ICE shooting. An attorney says 3 men who were inside the van when Lorenzo Salgado was killed are telling a very different story from the feds.
All 3 of my clients reiterated that at no point was there ever an agent standing in front of the vehicle, nor was an agent ever placed in the line of danger.
This case has moved forward on several fronts today, and we begin with a new account of what happened.
Yeah, for the first time, we are hearing a detailed account from the men who were inside the van being chased by ICE agents when the driver of the van, Lorenzo Salgado, was shot. That account, their attorney says, contradicts ICE's version of events.
Marcelina Benito leads off our team coverage this evening with more on what the men said. Marcelina.
Well, Len and Mia, other than those ICE agents, these 3 men are the only ones who know exactly what happened that morning. And tonight, their attorney telling us those men claim ICE is lying.
After speaking with these men, I have no doubt that what they're saying is the truth.
Attorney Hugo Balderas believes his clients. He interviewed the 3 men who were riding in this white van with Lorenzo Salgado.
My clients will forever be physically and emotionally scarred by this killing. None of these families will ever be whole again.
Balderas says they recount a typical morning that quickly turned when they started being followed.
They did mention that they were afraid because an unmarked vehicle.
Balderas tells us his clients told him at no point did Salgado use his vehicle to strike the ICE agents or their vehicles.
They confirmed that at no point was there ever an ICE agent directly in front of the vehicle. They also confirmed that the shots came from the sides, not from the front, which is inconsistent, with the ICE agent statements.
Balderas' clients are being held at an immigrant detention facility in Conroe. Mr. Balderas, you've been the only person to speak to 3 of the witnesses who actually saw what happened here. Could you tell us how your clients are doing emotionally?
They're still shaken by the whole situation.
Balderas says his clients are now being pressured to sign voluntary deportation forms.
The agency is going to try to cover it up. This is not the first time that it happens.
His top priority, getting them released. Their voice is critical, he says, to getting the truth out to this grieving community.
I can tell you with conviction that my clients' versions of the events are extremely different from what ICE agents are saying. The families deserve to know the truth.
Now, despite speaking to the Washington Post yesterday, Balderas was much more cautious with releasing additional details today. He says he wants to protect this investigation as it moves forward. He did tell us tomorrow, Saturday morning, he does intend to try to meet with his clients again up in Conroe, hoping to learn more. Back to you.
And those follow-up conversations could help fill in some of the gaps in a case where so much about what happened remains in dispute. Marcelino, thank you.
Harris County DA Sean Tier says his office has been investigating the shooting without federal support. Could that mean this case will eventually go to a Harris County grand jury? Brianna Berry in the newsroom right now with what she is learning. Brianna?
Well, DA Sean Tier said clearly he is not waiting for federal approval to investigate the fatal killing of Lorenzo Salgado. KHOU 11's legal analyst Carmen Rose says what makes this case different from similar shootings of a person by an ICE agent like what we've seen in Minneapolis per se is that community leaders are actively involved and investigating this shooting, and they're asking questions, pushing back against what we are being told.
He's made clear as the elected DA that 1, he's looking into charges that range from murder, manslaughter, and tampering with evidence, and that 2, the trust in this community demands that this case be presented to a grand jury. So I think it's likely that that's what we'll see from what we heard today.
Carmen says the other thing this investigation needs is video, specifically from the community. The DA's office asking anyone who may have anything, no matter how small they think it may be, to call them.
Brianna Berry in the newsroom for us. Thank you. Now, in the days since the deadly ICE shooting, the Department of Homeland Security has not spoken about the shooting, but has released statements giving its account of what happened. Amanda Henderson walks us through what they said so far and when. Amanda.
Yeah, Len and Mia, the first statement Tuesday afternoon, it originally alleges that an ICE officer fired their weapon in what they call self-defense. They say that Lorenzo Salgado allegedly attempted to evade arrest, rammed an ICE vehicle, refused verbal commands, and weaponized his vehicle in a, quote, attempt to run over an ICE law enforcement officer. Now, originally, the FBI was set to lead the investigation, but that changed 3 hours later when two separate investigations were announced. One by DHS's Office of the Inspector General, and one is going to be led by FBI Houston. Now, yesterday afternoon, DHS began referring additional questions to the FBI. Hours later, we learned that ICE officers involved in this incident were not wearing body cameras, and DHS blamed Democrats and the government shutdown as to why these body cameras were not issued. Less than an hour later, at 5:13 p.m., a first line was added to the release, and it says, quote, when our heroic law enforcement officers conduct operations, they clearly identify themselves as law enforcement. And last night, just after 8 p.m., DHS says they had a credible tip, which is why they claim ICE officers stopped Salgado's white van, as it was similar to a vehicle at a, quote, target's address, and they saw a, quote, individual who resembled the target.
So still lots of questions there, Len and Mia, obviously. This is also coming from some of our Congress members. Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia saying earlier that the ICE director has told her and other members of Congress that he does not intend to answer their questions about this case.
We learn something new just about every day. Amanda Henderson, thank you.